Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, June 8th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. After a 2-day break, the NBA Finals returns with Game 3 tonight at Madison Square Garden. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day presented by FanDuel. Mackenzie, the New York Knicks 2.5-point favorites tonight over the San Antonio Spurs up on FanDuel with a total of 216.5. Game number 3 of the NBA Finals in what is the hottest ticket in all of sports, where I don't even want to talk about how expensive the tickets are to get into this building. President Trump is supposed to be in attendance here tonight. Like, this is the must-see and must-attend sporting event of the year.
I like the Spurs here, I gotta say. And the market, I've kind of been saying the market hasn't really reacted. Well, now that it's moved to 2.5, I think we can say it has reacted. A big upgrade for the Knicks. For game one, game two, average line was about Spurs -6. So you flip home court, it should be about a pick 'em game. The market says not so fast. Now, I wonder how much of that is the Knicks being upgraded, and they deserve to be upgraded. I didn't know this stat. They actually have the best scoring margin entering game two of any team at any point over a 12-game stretch,
Wow.
272 points. That probably persists with a game two win, best 13-game stretch we've ever seen, point differential wise. Okay, so they get upgraded, but 2.5 points from Pick'em is a massive upgrade. I think the feeling is that it's going to be too much for the Spurs, their youth, throwing it off people's backs, etc. In Madison Square Garden. But I think historically that's not really been true. New York's not been a great home court advantage. I think the road team can get up in even that crazy environment. I think it makes the game electric. I think both teams respond to it, but I'm not sure it's as easy as, oh, the Spurs are on the road in a very loud stadium or arena. They're going to be much worse than expected. I don't think so. I think the Spurs have value here.
I've been saying this all weekend, and I'm curious if you agree or if you think I'm crazy, because it does actually sound crazy. The New York Knicks are up 2-0 in this series, Mackenzie. The San Antonio Spurs season is on the line. If they lose this game, they're down 0-3, and we know history tells us you're not going to win the series. You're not going to come back.
Correct.
So clearly you would say team desperation mode, right? The kitchen sink type game, as we talk about in football, whatever. I actually think there's more pressure on the Knicks tonight than there is the San Antonio Spurs. And again, it sounds crazy, but that building tonight, even though a lot of the regular fans are priced out and it's going to be a lot of suits in attendance and celebrities in attendance, there's still an expectation in that building tonight. Knicks fans and people all around Knicks basketball are treating tonight like a coronation. Like the Knicks already won the title. Not like they have 2 more games to win, but like they're supposed to win. It's already done. They're celebrating already. And if the Knicks lose this game tonight, the Spurs are right back in this series. The Spurs could easily win game 4, reclaim home court advantage, and all of a sudden this becomes panic mode for New York. And I know it's a 13-game win streak, and they've played great during the 13-game win streak. And, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, how great Mike Brown has been, and Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns, and whatnot. But I really think there's pressure on the Knicks tonight.
I absolutely do. I think they could win the championship tonight, and I'm not sure if they lose it, how much their chances will drop off. Only 5 teams in NBA history have come back from 0-2 in the finals. None of those teams have been losers twice at home.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think the home court advantage, as we've said throughout the playoffs, is not what it used to be in the NBA. I feel like this could be the championship tonight. It reminds me a lot of 93 Bulls Suns. Bulls win the first 2 games on the road. Suns win game 3, and they would have won game 4 under normal circumstances. But one Michael Jeffrey Jordan scored 55 points to barely win game 4, and then they go on to win in 6. The question is, do the Knicks have a Michael Jeffrey Jordan? Well, clearly not. I mean, no one does that. He lost 1 series, Jordan did, as a favorite in his entire career. It was 1995 when he came back from baseball and played 17 games. Think about this. Victor Wembanyama can already get that off of his resume. He can already fall to 0-1 in series where he's a favorite, or at least 1 loss in the finals. But that goes back to the point. The Spurs, just like they were against the Thunder, aren't going to make any roster changes no matter what happens. Nobody's on the hot seat. If Vassell falls off or is too expensive. Barnes is gone. Who cares? They have Carter Bryant. They have youth to fill into those roles and be larger roles than they are now. The Knicks are not like that. Jalen Brunson likely will not make another finals. That's just the way it goes. I mean, Luka Doncic made one finals. He's going to have a difficult time getting back. It's
Hmm.
not so easy, even for the best players. I think the Spurs really, yes, they can lose the series. They can lose the finals tonight. Their season will be over for all intents and purposes. But I think it's a bigger deal for the Knicks. I do. I
Yeah.
think I agree with that. I think there's more pressure.
So I looked up the history going back to 2003 in all NBA playoff series. If you win games 1 and 2 on the road, how do you do in game 3 at home? Well, since, as I mentioned, 2003, those teams are 12-13 straight up, 11
Hmm.
and 14 against the spread. But here's something that jumped out to me: 16-9 to the over. I kind of like the
Interesting.
over anyway tonight. Do we play the over? 215.5, 216.5.
Yeah, we talked about a little of this on the VSiN show, but I feel like the Spurs are going to get up a lot of threes and play a little bit more carefree than you might think if you're going into such a raucous environment. And the Knicks as well, all their role players should play better offensively at home. So I think they got to push the pace here. I think the Spurs are way more likely to win a high paced game, and I think they know it, and I think they're going to try to execute that game plan.
So I just isolated it even further. If you were underdog in those first 2 games on the road, now you're home favorites. 8-6 straight up in game number 3, 6-8 against the spread, 10-4 to the over. So obviously the
That's
overs,
a nice 60%er. I like that.
yeah, over is still the way, but 8-6 straight up for the Knicks, and we know the spread doesn't matter, right? Like it
Right.
hasn't mattered in these NBA playoffs. It's not going to matter tonight. Like I know you well, game 2 is 1 point game. Yeah, the Knicks were dogs, 6.6.5 point dogs and won outright. Like either the Spurs win outright tonight or the Knicks cover 2.5. Like there's no world where you're taking Spurs plus 2.5.
No, I mean, I thought you were going to say there's no world where the spread will matter. It's possible, but it became a like 1 in 30 scenario recently
Yes.
in the NBA
Yeah.
playoffs. It just doesn't happen that often.
Couple of props I like tonight, and you and I talked about this over the weekend. Like there's a possibility with the Spurs kind of maybe saying, let's rely on a veteran presence, if you will. There's a real possibility tonight's the De'Aaron Fox game. I know his points prop is 14.5. I like the over, and I don't hate laddering a De'Aaron Fox points prop. Like go 20 plus, go 25 plus. De'Aaron Fox could go off tonight for the Spurs.
Yeah, scored 19 points per game in the Spurs regular season. It was only 2 years ago. He was a 25 points per game scorer. I think it's entirely baked in, or the only reason why it's 14 and a half and not his
Mm-hmm.
regular season average is because he came back from injury and he was a shell of himself for game after game. I 8 for 12 in game 2. I think he's, maybe not fixed himself, but he's become comfortable with his current physical limitations. And I think he's going to have his, best game since coming back, or at least
Now
his
the other
most prolific game, because they're not going to go to Castle or Harper. I think they're going to rely on Fox in
yeah.
Madison Square Garden.
Now the other angle I wanted to kind of approach here is I kind of want to fade Carl Anthony Towns. Now, Towns has been great in the first 2 games of this series. I mean, he's like filling up the stat sheet. The rebounds have been incredible. 4 assists in both games, which, by the way, his assist prop had gone down to 3.5. So with him getting 4 in both games, he actually has gone over, in these 2 games. So Point Towns, I guess, is back, and you can still get up on FanDuel 4+ assists for Carl Anthony Towns tonight at -154. I kind of want to fade Towns in this way, like. I want to go under his PRA, and maybe I want to go over his assists, and maybe that takes me off of the PRA. But I don't think he scores as much or gets as many rebounds tonight, because I think the one adjustment that the Spurs are going to make after games 1 and 2 is the way that they defend Carl Anthony Towns, because he's had a major impact on this series. And I think that has to be one of the adjustments that Mitch Johnson's going to focus on here tonight, is how the Spurs affect the play of Carl Anthony Towns.
He only took 7 2-point shots, 3 for 5 from three, so he ends up with a team leading 21 points. But notably, no shots in the clutch, no shots when Victor Wembanyama was out there, and they really, needed the bucket. Not because he missed a lot, it's because they didn't go to him.
Hmm.
Yeah. So maybe just isolate points, but he's averaging 13 rebounds per game. I think points and shots just seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, points prop right now up on FanDuel for Karl Anthony Towns is 17 and a half. But again, like I just don't think he's going to get the same amount of rebounds. Like his rebound prop tonight up on
True.
FanDuel is 11 and a half. Like I just feel like we're getting to a point where it's getting juiced too much. Points, rebounds, assists for Karl Anthony Towns, 33 and a half, Mackenzie. I got to go under.
If they call the game like they did game two, he's probably not going to play 40 minutes because he picked up some questionable calls.
Yeah.
And I do think the refs, they're going to pick the refs to keep this series interesting as much as they can. I'll say that one.
Okay. Okay. Any other angles you want to attack tonight? I mean, we look at the first quarters. There's no first quarter system here tonight because the Knicks are favored, but we do know how well the Spurs have been playing in the first quarter. I mentioned how I kind of like the over for the game. Do we like the over 56 and a half in the first quarter?
I like the Spurs in the first quarter, and I think the Spurs are correlated to the over. So yeah, that's a lean I would have. I was looking at the series props, and to lead the team, to lead the series in points, Victor Wembanyama is a big -200 favorite. We've had two games in San Antonio. He shot a lot. Greg
Mhm.
Popovich texted him on the phone and said, "You're shooting too much. You're playing outside your game." Game seven against the Thunder, he only scored 22 points and only, I think, two in the last 15 minutes of the game. I think right now, at this point in his career, he's maybe the best defensive player, of his generation, if not, of all time. I don't think the Spurs are the Spurs because Victor Wembanyama shoots a lot of jump shots, and I think they're going to self-correct that. So Jalen Brunson hasn't had a great shooting game, even though he gets a lot of shots up. I think he might end up, win or lose, leading the series in points, and you get plus money, significant plus money with that right now.
And he's only, I think it's 5 points behind Wemby. Wemby 55 points in the two games, and Brunson 50 points.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're literally chasing 5 points, and you're getting plus money on a guy who is more
And you
likely.
might you might only have two more games, and they might be both home
Yep,
games for Brunson.
absolutely. One other prop I was looking at tonight, and I guess it's kind of correlated to the series line too, is Landry Shamet. His 3 point prop tonight is 1.5. The over is -158 up on FanDuel. Landry Shamet's making 2 threes tonight. And not only do I like this, Mackenzie, but you mentioned the series like leader. Like he's only what? I think Champagny has 7 threes made in this series, and I think Shamet's got like 5 or 6. Like, why can't Shamet lead this series in 3 pointers?
I mean, before, those would probably be long shots before either of the series. I wonder
Yes.
who. I guess the favorite would have been like Bridges or something. I don't even know.
No, Champagny and Vassell were the co-favorites.
Okay,
Hmm.
right. So it is wide open. I don't
Yep.
mind that at all. This is where legends are made. He was what, 10 out of 11, 10, 12 out of
Yeah.
13 to get in the conference finals. He still has that confidence.
Shamit 10-1 to lead the series in threes. And the other series prop that I want to bet is series rebound leader. Karl Anthony Towns right now is -205, Wemby +160, and Josh Hart +1600.
Mm.
Now, I think Towns and Wemby are like very close, I think, or they might have the same amount of rebound. No, I think Towns has the most right now, but then Wemby, that's right. So Towns has the most right now. He's 25 rebounds. Wemby and Josh Hart are next with 21 each.
Mm.
So wait a minute. I get the same amount of rebounds. I'm chasing 4 rebounds, and I can bet plus 1,600. And I just told you how I think I want to fade Karl Anthony Towns tonight. I think that there's going to be some regression to his numbers. How about Josh Hart plus 1,600 to lead the series in rebounds?
Reminds me of the Andrew Wiggins famous bet. I think it was 70-1 to lead the 2022 NBA Finals in rebounds as a wing. Draymond Green gets in some foul trouble, ends up not playing that much. Mike Brown has said that Karl Anthony Towns is the Draymond Green of this team in so many words. I could see him, having a 5 rebound game where he gets in foul trouble. Josh Hart has another 15 rebound game, and you'll be sitting pretty with some value there.
All right, let's talk about the MVP market, Mac, because I think there's a real opportunity here to make some money. Jalen Brunson is a plus 115 favorite up on FanDuel to be the NBA Finals MVP. Karl Anthony Towns is the second favorite at plus 165. Now, Victor Wembanyama's plus 380. That's the same price as the Spurs to win the series. So that's, basically the bet there is just, do you think the Spurs are going to win the series? This bet to me comes down to, Cat versus Brunson. And full disclosure, like we talked about betting Cat at 20-1 before the series started. We put a sprinkle on that. Jalen Brunson's going to win the NBA Finals MVP. And the fact that you can get plus 115 on him when the Knicks are, minus 500 to win this series is a gift. Just like I said, Aaron Judge at even money was a gift to win the American League MVP. Jalen Brunson at plus 115 is a gift to win the NBA Finals MVP. There's no voter that's going to watch the Knicks win 2 more games in this series and not vote for Jalen Brunson to be the most valuable player. He changed this franchise. Without Jalen Brunson, the New York Knicks are irrelevant. He completely changed the culture. Yes, Cat was nice to come in and assist. It didn't work out last year. Mike Brown did a good job of figuring out how to utilize Karl Anthony Towns, and the rebounds are impressive. But Brunson has way more points than him. They have the same amount of assists. So the only difference is the rebounds in the accounting stats, but then the intangibles, which is the clutch numbers, which Brunson, 10 points in the clutch minutes here in games 1 and 2, the most of anybody in this series. How is this not a minus 250 favorite for him to be the MVP?
I think it should be. There's been, in the last 25 years, 2 instances where the leading scorer on a team did not get the Finals MVP award. And I think those are the 2 weak spots of the Finals MVP award record. One was Steph Curry in 2015, didn't win in 2016. Andre Iguodala got it.
Yep.
I think most people look back now and say, wow, Steph Curry's like a top 10 minimum all-time player. He was like essential for everything that they were doing. He had huge games in Game 5 and Game 6. That was a mistake. That was a media mistake in 2016.
Oh, but the narrative, Iguodala shut down LeBron.
Yeah, he shot 39%, LeBron did, which is the other one. Jason Tatum in 2025 did not win it because he shot 39%. And despite leading the Celtics in points, rebounds, and assists, people were like, shooting percentages. The layman, as I should say the lame person, just looks at shooting stats and says, oh, did you play well? No, you shot 7 for 21. You didn't play well. I think the NBA is becoming more sophisticated than that when you see how much Jalen Brunson is asked to do on every single possession, shoot or not. So I think we could see some vindication there. I think if Jalen Brunson, as he should, leads the team in points, makes every clutch shot, makes every clutch decision, there's going to be some regression to the mean. It'll be like, yeah, he leads the team in points. He's the most valuable player. I don't even think it's that particularly close, even though Towns has played much better than expected. Brunson has shot worse, so it's closer. It's getting closer, but I don't think that gap has been cleared. And I expect going forward, Brunson to be the better player, as he has been, for the last 5 years for the Knicks. By far the most valuable player, the guy that changed the franchise.
It's not even close, honestly. I mean, Brunson had the key, the dagger shot in game number 1, clutch 3 in game number 2. Like I mentioned it, 10 points in the total clutch minutes here in this series. He leads all players. It's not even close. I'm shocked that this is still plus 115. Get on it now. Jalen Brunson, NBA Finals MVP. Game 3 tonight at Madison Square Garden. It is certainly going to be fascinating to watch. We have a night off here with the Stanley Cup Final. Game 4 here in Vegas between the Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes will be tomorrow night. And Vegas, a minus 106 dog. Carolina minus 113 up on FanDuel. And I've been saying this, Mac, for pretty much every game of this series. The market and the power rating is too heavily in favor of Carolina. And it doesn't take into account how even this series is. And yes, was game 3 like the most historic game ever where Vegas almost had the biggest collapse in NHL history? Yes. But that just goes to show you how even this series is. And with Vegas on home ice, I'm not buying the whole desperation angle where Carolina needs to win because they're down 2-1. There's no way that Vegas at home is an underdog. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense. What changed from, because the Carolina lost, like it's not the NBA. We don't have new refs come in and the bounce back theory of the NBA where if you lose, you should be upgraded. I kind of disagree with that. I think the market thinks got to be a long series. It doesn't have to be a long series. Sometimes these are 5-gamers. We must protect this house. The fortress is protected. Give me the Knights as a home dog.
All 3 games in the Stanley Cup final have gone over. Tomorrow's line is 5.5 minus 134 to the over. Well, tonight here in Vegas, Mac, is the first of 6 Major League Baseball games played by the A's at Las Vegas Ballpark, home of their AAA affiliate, the Las Vegas Aviators. Tonight, it is the Brewers against the A's, where the Brewers are a minus 154 favorite up on FanDuel, with Kyle Harrison, National League Cy Young contender, on the mound, and Jeffrey Springs going for the A's. Total in this game tonight up on FanDuel is 10.5. It's minus 122 to the over. Vegas is 3,000 feet above sea level, right? So we know something the elevation, and the warm weather, the ball flies out of the ballpark. If you look up minor league baseball stats this year, no team hits more home runs at home than the Las Vegas Aviators in the their league, right? I said before on this podcast and on every other show, when the A's play here in Vegas for 6 games, I want to bet the over in all 6 games. But Kyle Harrison has not allowed more than 2 runs in any start this season. That's how good he's been for the Milwaukee Brewers. If you look at the National League Cy Young race, it is Christopher Sanchez at number 1. By the way, I mean, Kyle Harrison's still 30-1, but that's because there's 7 pitchers that are in the mix for the Cy Young Award in the National League. And by the way, Christopher Sanchez does pitch tonight. But Kyle Harrison this year, a 7-1 record for the Milwaukee Brewers, an ERA of 1.57. And as I mentioned, he has never allowed more than 2 runs in any start this season. How can I bet an over with this guy on the mound?
I mean, he's never been to downtown Summerlin either. As scary as a place that is. I was going to say, when you're talking about elevation, I'm like, Summerlin is a drive, 45 degrees up from the strip. So it is an extra couple hundred feet. But you've convinced me. I'll stay away from the A's.
What I was thinking of is maybe we just do one, our favorite, the anti-correlated same game parlay, where we do the first 5 innings under 5.5, and then the full game over 10.5. So we're kind of backing Kyle Harrison. Maybe the Brewers have a 5-0 lead after 5 innings or something, right? And then it winds up being a 7-4 final, or 8-5 final. Maybe that could be a fun way to approach it.
Could be. If you're like me and you like to just hang out at the sports book and get some action either way, I think maybe some live bets would be a fun way to go about it too.
You know what? That's a great angle. A live over. Kyle Harrison goes through the first 3 innings scoreless. The total goes down from 10.5 to 8.5, and then you go live over. Maybe that's the way to approach it.
Yeah, and if you
the ball will fly out of the ballpark. We had a wind warning yesterday in Vegas. Tonight's weather is calling for 16 to 20 mile per hour winds.
People keep asking me if I'm hot out here at 90 degrees. Nope, I'm used to it. It is 100 degrees out there already. It is. Yeah. It is something else in Vegas. I mean, it's Colorado elevation wise with heat that is would be a record in Colorado in any given day.
There's going to be lots of runs scored in this series, and we'll see if Kyle Harrison is the victim of the Las Vegas ballpark here tonight. That'll wrap up this episode of this edition of Better Day. As a reminder, you can hit us all up on social media. We have some major announcements coming soon later on this month. I cannot tell you how excited I am for everything that we are building behind the scenes, and can't wait for you guys to experience it all. For more information, just simply head to our website, betterday.com. Learn how you can become a Better Day insider or a premium member. Hit us up, subscribe to our newsletter. You can subscribe to the newsletter for free, and goes to your inbox every Monday through Friday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.